Hi, I'm Yotam, Product Manager for Waves Audio.
And I'm Yoad Nevo. I'm a producer, mixer, and a Waves plugin developer.
We are here at Yoad's beautiful studios in London to show you a new product we've developed. It's called MultiMod Rack, and it's a multiband modulation rack for Waves' latest distortion plugins, Berserk, MDMX, and Abbey Road Saturator. Basically, it's the next level in what you can do with creative multiband distortion. And I think the best way to show it is by using that killer track you played us earlier.
Tide is closing curtains. I wanna open up to sunshine.
Okay, so let's see how MultiMod Rack is organized. So the rack has 3 slots. Each one of the slots is tied to a different frequency range, meaning the first one is the low frequency, the middle one is for the mid frequencies, and the high for the high frequencies. And each one of these can host Waves distortion plugin, a different one if you wish, or a single one across the board. We designed it with 2 things in mind. The first thing, which I like the most, is to go crazy. You have 4 types of LFOs and an amplitude modulation, which can be assigned to many different and cool parameters.
Very easily, you can just drag stuff on the screen and modulate a lot of the parameters. We have the EQ, which can be modulated as well, and that's a really great creative tool.
That's really crazy stuff.
Let's hear some sounds.
The second thing is to go precise, to have very surgical and precise way to control and manipulate the distortion. Sometimes you want to use, let's say, a light overdrive over the low frequencies, so you can assign the MDMX screamer to the low frequencies. And then you want to go a little bit crazier on the mid frequencies, you can assign the overdrive or the berserk. Each one of them is assignable to each one of the crossover slots. So you can have different distortion for the lows, different one for the mids, and different for the highs.
That's a trick I often use on sub-basses, where you have no harmonics whatsoever, so it's really hard for them to kind of come through, especially small speakers.
Yeah.
And then you can just distort, but just the lower frequency range by adding harmonics to it, and that will make it kind of cut more through the track.
So now that we're done explaining what this thing can do, let's have some fun with it.
Let's load some presets.
Cool.
I'll be waiting right here for you. Even if they tell me to move, I'll be waiting right here for you. Even if they tell me to leave, I'll be waiting right here for you. Even if they tell me to leave, I'll be waiting right here for you. Even if they tell you to leave.
So the way we handle the presets here, and we have many, which is pretty cool for such a diverse plug, is like so, divided by instrument or by the distortion plugin. If I have the whole package and I want to hear presets that use the variety of the whole distortion thing, I will go to Wave Distortion Tools. Or if all I have, for example, is just the Berserk distortion plugin, I've got presets just for that too.
So basically you can load presets that are pre-configured with the different distortion processors in each slot.
Yeah.
And we can swap them around, can't
Sure.
we?
You can swap them around and immediately get different results. So we can pull up a preset that will populate the multimod with 3 different plugins, or a preset that will use the single plugin for the whole 3.
So what can we do with just one plugin?
Okay, so the first thing we can do is adjust the crossover range. We can widen it.
So it will cover more frequencies.
Exactly.
Which will get processed by the mid distortion.
Exactly.
Let's hear what it sounds like.
MultiMod also include presets by some very cool and famous artists. We have Jakir King, Devin Townsend, Juno Reactor, Count, the producer and mixer for DJ Shadow and Tycho, and we have our good friend Joe Barisi, the producer of Tool. Let's hear one of Joe Barisi's presets as a starting point, then play around a little.
I think that the fact that we have a crossover here really helps with containing the sound of distortion, because when you start pushing the clipper and the harmonic distortions really kind of go to the roof. So something that really helps with that is just distorting the low end frequencies. You keep it contained, and then you look at the mid frequencies. Maybe you don't need to distort them as much, but to give it just a little bit of grit. And then you can use something which sounds more like an exciter or something like that on the high frequencies, even without it being kind of audible as a distortion, but it's just kind of exciter.
And now I want you to please show us the modulation section.
Okay, so we have 5 modulation sources. We have 4 LFOs, which can be changed to sequencers, where we can kind of draw in the values. We can also choose from a variety of waveforms. You can actually draw your own shape and save it as a preset. So if I want to do something like that, for instance, let's hear some sounds.
This is the next stage for us at Waves for the distortion processing. This will allow the user to go very, very creative and do some weird, crazy, beautiful stuff. And on the other hand, it can make him do some really precise and surgical distortion processing using the same familiar sounds he knows from the MDMX and from the Berserk and Abbey Road.